Welcome to Grab Overload. I'm Anthony, and naming schemes need to improve. Naming schemes for products from tech companies have been going downhill for a while, but with this Zen 2 launch, the Ryzen 3rd generation, there needs to be some improvement here. I do like the lower end Ryzens for this generation, the Ryzen 3s, the 5s, the 7s, whereas your 3600 and your 3600X, where the X is denoting the higher, boosting clock speed ones, the higher TDP, those 36, 37, 38, and I can even probably get on board with the 39 as the R9 3900. But once you get into that 3950, where Threadripper used to sit, and that's a different socket, that's where I kind of say the naming scheme should be differential a little bit, like the 1950X or the 2950X, so that people can go towards that and say, oh, this is a different type of socket. It's still the same family, just a different, higher end processor. And I'm really hoping that AMD goes down that route. Even with Intel created the i9, but then they took away stuff from the i7 of the, and hyper-threading stuff. So there's questions there, Intel needs to get on theirs. If they're going to have the same setup, make the i9, your 9900, which it is, but make sure it's the baddest of the bone that you can do, and right now that's what they have had, but I'm worried now with what AMD did. They're going to add in more and more versions. Well, they are, right? You're going to have your KS now coming out, and there's more confusion there. Plus, it is kind of infringing on the next step up. Maybe it should be a 9800K and leave the 9900 series just for your HEDT market, because I like the markets differentiated just ever so slightly, so that then people can go to it and have a better understanding. Because when I get questions about different naming schemes and having to keep track of them all, it can get confusing, especially when you add in motherboards. And the naming schemes on motherboards, I'm not going to even try, because it is atrocious what Intel and AMD have done with those chipset naming schemes. So hopefully that they get them ironed out here to make it, I think, hopefully easier for people going forward. At some point, I think AMD's kind of stuck with their naming scheme right now on the motherboard side. Processors, they can adjust generation from generation, but on the motherboard side with the chipset, they're pretty much set there. Intel has an opportunity to really iron it out with their next generation processors that they will be releasing whenever that is next. So hopefully that gets, CPU side gets cleaned up enough to avoid confusion for consumers, so that they're not asking questions on forums and everything else and about what to get based upon the names they are, and we can focus on the performance of those, so people can be getting the best performance product for the price point they're willing to pay. But GPUs are not much better, and I think AMD might be the worst offender here right now, which is AMD has the 500 series, the 5000 series. On July 7th, they'll have that, the Vega, and Radeon 7. So they have 4 different naming schemes right now. Let's bring it down to one. Let's have the 5000 series and get it all released, so that you have, your 50 whatever low end, 5100, or however low you want to go, and then all the way up to maybe your 5900, and put your highest one up there, 5990, whatever, right? Make that your biggest one, and make it so that people are easy to understand. Yeah, you maybe could have another Halo product like Nvidia has, but even then, Nvidia doesn't really sell that to. They say it's not for gaming, but really it's kind of like the best gaming card out there. Nvidia, come on. But I even like to see Nvidia make like a 2090, and just make it 2090, 2080, 2070, 2060, 20, and make that whole product stack. Make it easy for people to go up and down the product stack to pick something out that's in their budget, and it's easy for them to get the product they want, and then get the computer built to start gaming. And I think, these companies are just confusing naming schemes, probably keep us more talking about them and more informed, and trying to get, or not really informed, but more confused, and trying to get us to talk about them so other people can kind of understand them. But at the same time, I feel if the companies got their naming schemes kind of ironed out and made it simple for everybody to kind of see what products lined up where, you could have us talking more about the performance and what your cards can do, what your CPUs can do, and how much more, you know, this card gives you a little bit more performance, and because, you know, we can do deeper dives onto why that is. And, you know, it was able to see then of users. I think users are going to want to watch that content more than, and read that content a lot more than sitting there and trying to figure out what processor fits where and why is the naming so confusing. But that's my point of view, where it's really kind of difficult, I think, for a lot of people to kind of see all these different things. And when it comes down to it, a lot of people then just ask for my input because they don't want to try to keep track of it. So hopefully, you know, Nvidia, Intel, AMD, let's clean up these naming schemes. Monitor companies, I'll tell you that right now, monitor companies have some horrible naming schemes. This is up and down the whole tech market. There's no one company that does it really well, I think, yet. But maybe one day that will happen. It'll be cleared up. And even with CPU coolers now, I was looking at those today, and they're even bad. Like, come on, why can't we make this simple so everyone kind of knows what generation we're on, where the performance stands on it a little bit, especially on the CPU side. Coolers, you know, there's great sites out there like Gamers Nexus and stuff that go and test all these things. And if you just have confusing naming schemes or little one-offs, it makes it confusing, especially if you're changing specs on them, which is another thing you can't do in your naming schemes. Keep them all separate. Keep it all so people can easily find it, easily understand, and are not confused. Because in the end, they want a great experience. And if you're not going to provide a great experience, why are you even doing it? You're just confusing the product, and you're going to make people upset that they didn't get what they actually thought they bought. So let me know what your thoughts are on the whole confusing naming schemes, and hopefully they can clean them up. I mean, Radeon is in a transition with their GPU line, so hopefully we don't ever again have 4 different product lines in different naming schemes at the same time out, because that's annoying. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below on how you think we solve it. What would you like to see? Because a lot of people out there would like to see different stuff, and there's probably a lot of good ideas out there that I would like to probably see where people fit in and as to why they like it as well. So thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to help support Gray Overload and helping this channel grow. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.